We depend on soils. They provide many ecosystem services. Still, they are being degraded while we're facing global challenges. It is then crucial to foster climate-smart and sustainable management of soils, and in particular of agricultural soils. The European Joint Programme SOIL was implemented and co-funded by the European Commission and by 24 European countries. We performed a wide range of activities considered to be knowledge development, knowledge sharing and transfer, knowledge harmonization, organization and storage, and knowledge application. So we really set a pan-European working community, and you will learn more in the next interviews.
The EJP SOIL has laid a very strong foundation for the mission. So it's the program that started first, before the mission was even conceived. So it works on agricultural soils, whereas the mission is much broader in terms of land use coverage. So the mission works on urban and forestry soils as well. But the input on agricultural soil and on carbon in particular is used under the mission, and that's very important. Secondly, also the EJP national hubs, they're a foundation of the mission mirror groups. So they're very important for the science policy interface in all the 24 member countries of the EJP SOIL. And they bring a lot of support to the mission. So there's really a strong correlation of the input that the EJP provides to further develop the soil mission.
So EJP SOIL has had a very big impact on our work. First of all, from the breadth of the science that they've been producing, but on a more practical level, the catalogue system that they've implemented for the project will form the basis of the new data and knowledge management infrastructure that we're designing for the EU Soil Observatory.
From my perspective, the most important thing that came out of the EJP SOIL was the concept of transfer functions. Because we need to make data comparable in Europe. And so this transfer function is the solution to, on one side, keep the existing systems, and on the other side, making them speak with each other, make them comparable so that we can learn much more out of them, and we can build an integrated and harmonized system.
The network of long-term field experiments that are all over Europe, some of them are already more than 100 years old, so it is really a treasure of long-term research. These long-term field experiments had been separated in all the different countries. Now they can be used as an ensemble. That's a big treasure that is now also in cooperation with others provided through EJP SOIL for future soil research and for future policy making and for improving practice.
So the future impact of EJP SOIL is tied very closely to the implementation of the soil monitoring law. We've collaborated in the past on integrating LUCAS module with data collected by member states. And we see this work to develop transfer functions to help member states implement the new monitoring systems as a key feature in going forward.
EJP SOIL has delivered policy input, or has fed into the development of the soil monitoring law. The real the European framework that will protect the last non-unprotected European public goods soils. So there's key scientific input on this from that side. And maybe lastly, what is important is that the EJP SOIL has brought conclusions on what works and what doesn't work in science policy interrelations. And that's useful in terms of further guidance also for policy making, but also for more R&I production in the area.
Well, the most important outcome is that it's very difficult to translate sustainable development goals towards legislation. And there is no one-size-fits-all. The national hubs play a vital part in that process, because we can reach the farmer, and a policymaker doesn't have that access to the farmer or to the contractor that we have.
So EJP SOIL had a very big impact on our work, because while EJP SOIL was running, we were developing the certification framework for carbon farming and carbon removals. So we could in real time benefit from all the research that EJP SOIL was doing. So looking towards the future, we hope that we can adopt very soon our concrete methodologies on how to certify the carbon storage in soils, the reductions of emissions from the use of fertilizers, and so on. So we hope that we can very soon really put the results of EJP SOIL into practice.
We can draw also some of the outcomes of the EJP SOIL when the Commission will develop the new research programs for the next calls, maybe 2026 or 2027. So there are still unknowns in sustainable soil management where we do need to invest. And in that regard, I think EJP SOIL can provide some good inputs of the areas that still need additional research.
For me, the biggest achievement of the program EJP SOIL is that it created a network, a community of soil researchers in an interdisciplinary sense, particularly with young researchers from all over Europe. So it created the next generation soil enthusiasts doing credible, tangible, and impactful research to the best of soil health.
Well, EJP SOIL is my first international project, so the impact is enormous. First of all, I gained experience working with many different partners. Each country has a very different situation regarding information provision and climate, and therefore the challenges it brings. And for me as a young scientist, but I think also for my more experienced colleagues, working with institutes in other countries gives us a broader perspective on the problems and the solutions. I have absorbed so much information from the many meetings, seminars, project reports, and conferences I can pass on to colleagues now, and students and other public members as well. So thanks to this project, I have grown a lot as a researcher and as a scientist in general.